Well, greetings, Mind Crafters, and welcome to another Mindcraft discussion on this glorious day. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am so super pumped and elated and just thrilled with this gift of a day. I love September, which is what it is right now, at the time of filming anyway, and it's just gentle, right about in the middle. In fact, our oldest daughter's turning 30. Happy birthday, Caitlin, next week. So it's just gorgeous weather in Vermont. It's just like, I don't know, 70-ish and dry and super wonderful. So, all right, so here's the scoop. So Giovanni and I are going to be, we have been back in the woods at a slow hobble. I'm still on a, tough to show you this way, kind of like, still at a bit of a hobble with the boot, but I do have lots of positive feedback from all of you, not all of you, but many of you about listeners, watchers, viewers, whatever, Minecraft fans who really enjoy the on location. Well, this is on location too, technically, right? The on location woods chats, and also out with the goats who are right over there. Actually, they've been playing on their playground all morning in this nice weather. But that's all happening. I just another few weeks. I'm still moving around slowly, but another few weeks, and we're gonna start walking around by the beaver ponds again. Hopefully that's the plan anyway. So today we're out in the back deck. It's not that different really. And so what I want to talk about is, a big Minecraft theme, and which is, it is a neurological or a psychoneurological or neuropsychological fact that we become what we think about all day long. This is absolutely true. And right about this time of year, when my in-person Minecrafters at Champlain are, they're so endearing and sweet. I have such a good group this year. I don't know if I've ever had a bad group. I don't think I have. They're always just chatty and wonderful, but they're just so incredibly sweet this semester. Anyway, often right about now, because week before last, we talked about anxiety and stuff, and often in the beginning, and then by the end of Minecraft, they get it, but they start thinking, they don't fully process yet this early on that they can't be anxious. They can't feel anxious. They can't feel insecure. They can't feel resentful or pissed, or also the reverse, right? Happy, joyful, awe, with all this, without actually thinking these thoughts first. So this translates in also to, on another level, we teach people how to treat us, and all that rolls into that too. So here's the thing. What I really want to kind of zoom in that bigger, broader topic today is when we focus on what's missing. I just don't think, and my young Minecrafters are just getting into that right now. By the end, they get it. Right now, they're kind of in that, she doesn't understand. I've been diagnosed with this for, 3 out of my 18 years, and she doesn't. Of course I understand. Of course I do. The thing is, the facts are the facts. Whether we've got that something extra to deal with or not, it's still our choice to shift out of thoughts that are not working for us, or they are working for us a way that's not healthy. That might sound contradictory, but it really isn't, because we can become very comfortable with unhealthy thinking. So that's why it makes sense. So they're not quite there yet, but they will get there. Some of them are there, but there's definitely a crew that hangs on to it for a while, because, and then I explained to them, I'm going to do a little diversion, because this example is such a good one. It's just such a good one. So way back when, at my youngest brother-in-law's graduation, I did share this with them this week. I share it every single year. My youngest brother-in-law is, I think, 52. So that's a really long time ago, like more than 30 years ago, because it was a 2-year program in Long Island. And he's blind. He's non-sighted. And I remember the graduation talk like it was yesterday, which is, I really love graduations, obviously. As a professor, it is so uplifting. But the fact that I remember it just was so meaningful. So this professor had definitely dyslexia. I remember that. Definitely anxiety. I remember that. He had a third thing, which I forget, but it doesn't really matter for the example. And he talked about how he got around how he got to be a PhD. He's standing up there doing this talk in front of all these students about to graduate and go into the role with various differences and things like that, learning differences, different things. And also, this was also at a time when IEPs and 504s weren't a thing, because this is 30 plus years ago, and he was like 60 something back then. So that the support wasn't there as much. He talked about the bullying. He talked about how he had to choose it and stick with it. He went around around all over the place to get where he was. And then he told he gave this visual of a track meet. He gave this visual of a track meet and how the different colored uniforms, and anybody who's been at a track meet, even if you weren't on the track team, you know what it looks like. Everybody's in the tank tops. Usually it's an invitational type, structure with lots of teams with purple and gold and blue and gold and green and white and black and orange and whatever. And everybody's all lined up. There's a crew in the front. They're going to, take off and be beastly and amazing. And then there's a crew, whole big pack in the middle who are also, really good athletes. Not quite the beast runners, but they're really good athletes. And then you got there's usually a crew behind that are, some of them are in it just to stay in shape. Some of them are in it for social reasons. Both of those things were true for me. And the camaraderie of the team and everything like that. And here's the thing, when the gun goes off, whether you're up in front, you're in the middle, or you're in the back, everybody's waiting for the same gun to go off. And what he said was, what's wild is that underneath all those colorful uniforms, you can't tell if one of those students or two of those students, or statistically speaking now, lots of those students have some sort of weight belt underneath, like a 5 or 10 or even a 20-pound weight belt. And you can let's just pretend we just kind of lifted up the tank top to here, and let's say it's like a charcoal gray or black one. We can write on it easily. Take chalk and write anxiety, depression that's underneath the shirt, nobody can see. Fast Mind Club, which is ADHD, I just choose not to call it that because it's negative. Fast Mind Club, autism, bipolar, whatever. And then tuck the shirt back in or let it hang out and it covers it. And everybody's running, some with weight belts, with chalk written on, with various differences in wiring, and nobody can see, right? So here's the thing. When we focus on all that stuff, what we get is more of that stuff, and that gets in the way of us becoming happy and being our best selves. It takes away from all the positive emotion we could be experiencing. Why? Because we're focused on what's missing. Because I'm missing being neurotypical, let's say. I'm missing that I have anxiety, so I'm not like that person. I have depression, so I'm not like that person. I'm in the Fast Mind Club, so I'm not like that person. We can also take that, a step further, and maybe it's because of my anxiety, this happened, and I got this grade, or I didn't get that interview, or I didn't get that relationship got screwed up. So we're focusing all this cognitive energy on what we don't have, ways we are not, which we wish we were, which is all combined is all what's missing. It's all lack. So here's the thing. When we focus on lack, which is what's missing, all the scarcity dialogue we just said, we attract more of what's missing. More negative dialogue comes to us. So once we're aware of that, it's really, really, really important to shift out of that, to do everything we can to practice. In fact, I just showed my Minecrafters a brief video the other day about how we are, for very primal, very primitive reasons, hardwired to think negatively until we do the heavy lift. Because, way back when we were being chased by saber-toothed tigers and raptors were running around grabbing us, and we darted into caves in the dark and all that stuff. We look for the negative because way back then it was for survival. Only now, instead of that, it's, oh no, I was left out of that thing I just saw on Instagram and I didn't get invited, or oh no, I forgot to respond to my boss via email and it's been 2 days and I didn't see it. And it's like this level of panic, like a raptor's ready to grab you and eat you for dinner. It's not that level. So when we're focusing on all the missing, all what's lacking, all the ways we're not enough, all of it, it just attracts more. And so once we get that thoughts come first, feelings second, actions or behaviors third, thoughts, feelings, behavior. Knowing that thoughts expand, especially if you hang on to it longer than 17 seconds. We've talked about it in other episodes. Sorry, with such an itch right here. Things, they expand, so it's very, very, very crucial. It's actually, I was going to say mega important. It's also mega important. It's crucial to gatekeep the thoughts we are allowing to linger, and not to just reside in all those ways to not be enough, what's missing in our lives, the ways that we are not and want to be, that are, just da-da-da. because it expands. And you know, also thinking of other things. Okay, like I'm not confident enough. I don't have enough money. Money was is a very, like, I guess, tangible example. When people focus on the lack, we talked about all the mental health stuff, but it's also lack of money. Instead of focusing on the two, Oprah even says this, and I love her. She's one of my closest friends. She just doesn't know. She has talked about that a lot. If you even have, you know, $5 in your account, you're still in the positives. And I know it's a tough sell when you're in it, but when people continually focus on a lack of money, guess what you're going to get? More lack of money. So anyway, we've driven the point home. And so instead of doing that, we need to practice, because whatever we practice, we inevitably get better at. When we practice anything, we get better at it, even if it's worrying. I just had this chat with my Minecrafters last week too. If you want to become an Olympic gold medalist winning warrior, you can. Rehearse like Olympians rehearse, and you'll get great at it. Only there's no medal, just misery around the corner. It's just how it is. So rather than latching on and digging in with nails, hanging on to all this lack, instead shift into a place of it's on its way. Let's say it's, oh my God, I'm not confident. Confidence is on its way. Oh my God, I just don't have enough money. What am I going to do? Money is on its way. We've got to nip those negative thoughts in the bud, because what we think about expands, and what we think about and what we think about and expands all day long is what we become. That translates into our lives. I also did a video sort of recently, not exactly this. We talked about how Joe Dispenza talks a lot about this. Wayne Dyer talks a lot about this. Oprah talks a lot about this. Lots of people talk about this. That are roughly 95% of our thoughts are like etched, like written with quill pen on the limbic system, and they just stay there. The prefrontal cortex, they just stay in there until we talk back to them, until we fact check, until we say, don't want you anymore, and I'm going to shift. I'm shifting out. Because actually, if we resign and don't want you anymore, that won't go a good direction either. We have to kind of decide it and then make a shift. It's on its way. This is on its way. Confidence is on its way. Self-love is on its way. Self-acceptance is on its way. My dream job is on its way. Money is on its way. Beep, 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 bah. Because that's the only way it's going to work. So after a while, once we practice something, it's just like playing it's actually very similar to the guitar, right? I went through my little guitar phase long time ago. Very typical fast mind behavior, because I was into this, I tried that, because it's fun. Now, you know, when you try to play the guitar, you get calluses, right? Because you're practicing and you're not great at it yet, so it hurts and it's an uphill lift. After a while, the calluses go away and you're playing Margaritaville. So you want to stay with it. And when you stay with shifting out of till it's on its way, shifting into those more positive, more abundant thoughts, and celebrating all your little achievements along the way, you have less of a polarization of lack, like what's missing from what you want. There's less of a Instead, it becomes more fluid. Okay, I had a little breadcrumb here. Things are a little better today. A little breadcrumb. Celebrate. Grateful, grateful, grateful. And you become more natural at it. It becomes more. Your thoughts become more harmonious as you begin to train your brain, which is very, very trainable. The brain is actually not that hard to train or even trick. As intelligent as we are, it's really not that hard to trick. So we train it, rewire it into being in this place where we are the master of our own destiny here. We are the pilots of our own airplanes. We're the captains of our own ships. Eventually, just like a 2-year-old toddler having a tantrum, right? The brain will figure out who's boss. The brain will figure out who's boss, and it's you. So we've got to gatekeep and cherry pick those thoughts. Stay away from focusing on what's lacking, what the problem is. Focus on instead the desire, your intention. Put the attention on your intention, and really sort of how you visualize things will work out. We have to actually become anticipatory of how that feels. That's how it really gets there, because when thoughts grow up and become practice, rehearse, they become beliefs. And in a positive sense, that can work really well for us, because the next step after belief is knowing. And once you really know you're confident, know that you're prosperous, know that you're joyful, know that you have the world by the ass, then we just have this anticipatory feeling because the brain does not know the difference between what you create as a feeling on the inside and what you're pulling from out here from whatever manifests. It's practice that feeling of having things be confident or easier or more abundant or whatever, and that is the ticket. Okay, good. So we become what we think about all day long. So it is very, very, very important to reel those in, gatekeep, fact check, cherry pick, and keep only the ones that are really working for you. So like I say, it doesn't mean to not feel, because we've talked about that. You got to feel and all that. We don't want to, and we want to do that. But then we got to make the shift. Got to make the shift. Okay, this is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful, my beautiful backyard in northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.